So what our authors do is they give us several test cases, right? And they say that the following test cases demonstrate that the alleged theological contradictions offered by Ehrman regularly turn out to be different, right, but not contradictory in nature. Right, so yes, different perspectives, different accounts, but that doesn't mean that they contradict. Right, a different view. Someone's looking from this side, someone else looking from this side. Right.
And again, we're not writing from a perspective of 21st century America. We have access to computers and Xerox machines and unlimited paper. And, my pen ran out of ink. I don't need to go 300 miles to get a new one. I throw it out and get another one that I bought for $1 for one of those fancy ones. And so where the disciples are writing from is an important point here too.
The historical perspective and that sort of thing. So they give us several cases here, and they're going to try to show that the difference here, because there are some differences, don't mean that they contradict one another, right?
Right.
So let's take a look at the first case. So test case number 1. Here it is. Mark and Luke have different depictions of the crucifixion. Right? Well, this is central to Christianity, right? And so if Mark and Luke have different depictions of the Christianity, we may be in trouble, right? And so Mark and Luke have different depictions of the crucifixion. So in Mark, they tell us Jesus dies in despair and is unsure of what's going on. While in Luke, Jesus is in complete control. Right. Clearly different, kind of depictions of what's going on. Right.
And if you've seen debates with Bart Ehrman kind of on this subject, this is one of the test cases he uses. One that he brings in a little bit later that I think that they address is the view of Pilate and how as you get further down the road, you have Pilate looked at as a bad guy to, we're kind of getting out there. We don't want to be persecuted. So Pilate's not that bad of a guy. He's okay. Right. Yeah.
So now clearly many scholars acknowledge that Mark and Luke offer different perspectives on Jesus' life. And as Ehrman has pointed out, also his death. But the central question here appears to be whether it is illegitimate for two authors to highlight different aspects of Jesus' death and whether these different aspects are incompatible. Right? So they look at it from different perspectives. They highlight different aspects. Are these two ways, are these two perspectives incompatible? Do they contradict one another? Right?
Yeah. And as a historian, do you want one perspective or multiple perspectives that are entirely 100% the same, or do you want a diversity of points of view, vantage points? So there's a okay movie called Vantage Points where it takes kind of different people and builds the kind of the overarching case of what you're supposed to figure out for this.
It's like half a dozen people or so that they
for this assassination attempt. And so do you want more detail to build in the events? Okay, who was there? Well, this person says, the women. Here it says the priests were there, and you have the cry of the blood shall be on our hands, and you have the Romans doing their thing, and at what hour did this happen? And hold on, what hour are we talking about? And so
what happened are we talking about? Right.
When is the win? So first, the gospel writers never claim to give an exhaustive account of all these things. This is the only things that happen. I'm giving you the full accounting.
This is everything, right? This is the whole deal.
And so when you talk about contradictions, this can't be a contradiction because it's not an A and not A type of situation. So they don't. They're not claiming to give an exhaustive account of the things that happened on the cross. Each evangelist was free to pick and choose from the various details for that day, just as we do, just as depending on who we talk about or for what purposes.
What impresses us the most, right? What we want to emphasize.
Break up the monotony of saying the same thing over and over again. Second, while it's true that Luke emphasizes Jesus' control of the situation more than Mark does, Ehrman plays up the difference for more than it's worth. Right. Ehrman claims that Jesus in Mark dies in so much agony and despair that he is unsure of the reason of his death. And so, the cry of my God, why have you forsaken me is in contrast to where Jesus on the cross says, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit."
Yeah.
So, oh man, that seems like two vastly kind of different things.
One, he's in despair and he's out of control. The other, hey, into your hands I'm in total control of this situation, right? And so, so earlier, obviously in Mark, Jesus, and here's kind of how we kind of give a rebuttal to this type of thing, right? Earlier in March, earlier in Mark, Jesus had told his disciples exactly why he must die.
Right, yeah.
Right? So he knew exactly why he must die, right? He says, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many. Mark 10:45. Right. So look, he says, look, I've come into the world for this purpose. He is in control, we might say, of what's going on. He says, look, I am carrying out a specific purpose. Right. Well, if you're carrying out a purpose, that means that you're in control of what's going on. Right? So even while facing the agony of what he was about to suffer, Jesus, according to Mark, stated in the Garden of Gethsemane, "Get up, let's go. See, my betrayer is near." Right? Now, notice, this does not sound like a man who has lost control of the situation. He says, okay, this is the next thing that has to happen. Get up, let's do this. Right? Sounds like he's in control of me. Right? So while Luke does highlight Jesus' confidence in the face of suffering, this element isn't absent in Mark. Right? Mark still talks about this controlling aspect.
And furthermore, the deep anguish of Jesus, which Ehrman points out is prevalent in Mark, is also evident in Luke as well. For instance, Luke 22 and 42, Jesus asked the Father to remove the cup of his death. So, this, let the cup pass before my lips. He's crying, he's sweating out blood. I mean, this is a person in anguish. This is, not someone who's taken a weekend trip to hell or heaven or paradise for a bit. This is someone who is realizing that the entire weight of the chosen people for the sins of the world are going to be placed on him, and it's weighing on him. If this person,
so he's in despair there. He's we might say out of control because he's appealing to the Father to take this cup. Right now, clearly he wasn't, but so Luke has this aspect of despair as well.
And so where Ehrman turns the kind of the key in this is he says the crucifixion. But if we go to the garden, we could flip his presentation around and make the complete opposite claim.
Exactly. Jesus was out of control or in despair and out of control. Look at how he reacted in the garden. Right. According to Luke.
Yeah. But in Mark, let's get up and go. We're going to do this.
He's totally in control. Yeah. So which is it? Right? Is he in control? Is he out of control? Right.
Yeah. What is more, 2 verses later, Luke describes Jesus as being in anguish with his sweat appearing like drops of blood falling to the ground, 22:44.
In Luke, right? Yeah.
So to make sure, Mark and Luke offer different perspectives on some of the particulars of Jesus' death as they write. Yet this does not mean their perspectives are irreconcilable in conflict. And so this whole point of why does Jesus, when he's on the cross, say, my God, why have you forsaken me? It's a callback. It would be like me saying, Amazing Grace. And you're like, oh, I know a song by that. Yeah. And so that was the Jewish perspective. Who is he talking to? He's talking to the crowd. He's lamenting Psalm 22, or 23, this cry.
It's not 23.
It's 22. It's this cry out by the Messiah that I become undone. My bones are out of joint. My garments are being cast dive and taken from me. It's a callback to a historic psalm that everyone would have known who had that perspective. Right. And this is the opening line. Yeah. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. He's quoting a song. Yeah. Jesus here is quoting a song.
And Jesus is saying actually that this is happening, right? The Father is forsaking him because he is bearing the weight of our sin. Right? Yeah.